hopefully we have enough parity. Yeah, I did not increase the ISO too much.
Okay.
Because it would be too bright.
Yeah,
Also, there's a light over here.
it does feel really bright
too
over
bright.
there.
Yeah, nobody can see anything.
Yeah.
They should have light over here on the ceiling.
Yeah, thank goodness they don't apparently.
You know. Return that. This must be yours. That's the last time.
Yeah.
Alright, good morning everyone. So I have to return the assignment number 2, assignment number 3 also here. My congratulations to Jacob. You got a good grade. To Jenna, good grade there. So we're gonna have tests soon, okay? According to our schedule. Oh, the one thing, very important thing. I have a sample test over here. A couple students, they never show up in class. That's weird. Come to the test and the first day only. That's really strange. So I have a sample test over here. I want you to go ahead and try to do all the problem on the sample test. After the lecture today. Thank you. If you look at the sample test, you see that the question is kind of similar to the example we have in the lecture. So on the first one, they just want you to use fundamental identity. So instead of using the triangle, For the first question, as we did in the first test, you do a fundamental identity, which is the property. You use the formula to calculate all the fundamental function, trigonometry function. Okay. And for number 2, just a verification. So you just use all the property we learned so far. Here you go. For question 2b, this talk about double angle, so we're gonna learn double angle today, and you should be able to do 2b. 3, as you already learned how to deal with the cosine of the sum and the cosine of the minus already. This should be very simple, and make sure that you put the quadrant into consideration, okay? Number 4, you should be able to do number 4 after the lecture today. 4a and b including. Number 5 is about the inverse function. Hopefully we have time to talk about inverse function on Wednesday. Then on Monday next week, hopefully I can have time. Hopefully I can have time there to do a review day. Then we can have some activities, and I can add more extra credit to your test. But this time I couldn't promise that because we kind of fallen behind a little bit, just one session. So I didn't put that question into the sample test and the real test. But I might put that kind of question on the third test. Okay, that session is very important, but it takes more than two lectures to do that kind of question. What's your name? Ian, right? Yeah. Okay, so I already returned assignment number 3 to you, and again I just feel that those who did really well, I mean, you guys really grasped the function. Okay, and I'm sure that you guys didn't go to the math center to get some help. I know that right away. So just again keep improving, getting better for those assignments. Very important. Okay, and do the homework, do the sample test. Then you guys should be okay. Okay, if you guys don't do the sample test, it will be tough. I'm sure. Okay, because for trigonometry, we talked to other instructors and they say that we have to cover a lot of things. And for just a short period of time, 3 months, it seems like that you have to learn many other concepts. It's kind of tough, so you need to do practice, otherwise you cannot memorize all the formula. Because the more you do practice, it's easy for you to memorize formula. Okay? Any other question? Alright, good. Do the sample test. Let's see, put this away. Okay, so last time we talked about trigonometry property. We learned some more identities that help you to calculate, to evaluate trigonometry ratio, trigonometry function, and help you to verify trigonometry expression. Let's go back to one of the formula we learned last time, the cosine of a plus b. Okay, so this today we keep going with trigonometry property. Identity. Okay. Continue. So we learned this formula already. We want to calculate, we want to evaluate cosine of A plus B, of course A and B is the angle, so A must be in degree, B degree or radian. So if you add these two, the unit, the final unit will be radian or degree, right? Anybody remember this formula? Cosine of A plus B give you what? No formula sheet on test, guys. Cosine of A plus B give you?
Cosine A plus
Cosine A, cosine B,
minus
sine A, sine B. You know, it's for a short period of time, it's very hard for you to memorize, to absorb all the formula, but that's what you have to do, okay? Now, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna replace my B, my angle B, with another angle, okay? With angle A, for example. I will replace angle B with angle A. Okay, so we will put replace B with A. Yeah. So I have cosine of A plus A, and cosine of A plus A equal to, if I apply the formula we already learned last time, right? So it gives you what? I replace the B over here, right?
cosine square A minus sine
Cosine square A. So let's do step by step. Let's do step by step. So I have cosine A here, sine A here. So I just throw away my B and put the A in. So this is give you cosine square A minus sine square A. Okay. And A plus A give you cosine of 2A. So what you have on the whiteboard, we call the formula for double angle of cosine. Cosine of 2A equal to cosine square A minus sine square A. So you have to memorize that formula. This is the formula for double angle. Okay. And if I replace, if I use the Pythagorean identity, okay, if I use Pythagorean identity, I replace cosine square, okay, with sine square, then cosine square will become equal to 1 minus sine square, right? Because Pythagorean identity we have is cosine square plus sine square equal 1. Then cosine square equal to 1 minus sine square. Okay. Then what it give you? It give us 1 minus, okay, negative sine square and another sine square give you minus 2 sine square. Okay. So cosine 2A, I can rewrite it as 1 minus 2 sine square A. So this is the corollary of this property, of this identity. I can say that. Okay. Okay. Similarly, if I want to use Pythagorean identity also, but I want to replace sine square with cosine square. So what I have? I will have what? Cosine 2A equal to cosine square A. So I replace sine square here is 1 minus cosine square, right? I apply Pythagorean identity. Then what I give you? I distribute my minus sign in. So I have cosine square A minus 1 plus cosine square A. Okay. And now I can combine like term. So I have cosine square A plus another cosine square A give you 2 cosine square A minus 1. Okay, here you go. Then we have another sub-formula. So those formula I box on the whiteboard right now is so important that you're gonna use that like very often. Okay. So that is for cosine. This is the double angle for cosine. How about I want to do sine of a double angle? And I apply the same concept. I will use the formula we learned last time, okay? And I apply the same concept. I'm going to replace my b with a, but instead of using sine, instead of using cosine, I'm going to use sine. And if I do like that, my sine of 2a become 2 sine of a cosine of a. So this is the double angle for sine function. So I'm not show you like step by step like that, but you do the same thing to give you that. Okay. So you're gonna use sine of a plus b to give you the same thing. Okay. And tangent should be very easy. Tangent is sine over cosine, so we can do tangent of 2a. Will be what? I'm going to change it to sine of 2a over cosine of 2a. Okay. And if I replace that, I manipulate some way somehow. Okay, I have 2 tangent of a, 1 minus tangent square a. So those identity I have here on the board is a relation between the double angle and the single angle. You see that? If you look at the cosine here, cosine of 2a is a double angle, right? And then relate to the single angle, which is angle A only. Similar here, we have cosine of 2a is related to the angle A. We have sine of 2a is double angle is related to angle A and A here, just single angle. And tangent of 2a equal to 2 tangent of A, which is a single angle and on top, and another single angle at the bottom. So this identity is nothing else but a relation between the double angle and the single angle. Okay. So if the question gives you the double angle, give you some information with double angle, and they want you to calculate the trigonometry function or trigonometry ratio in single angle, then of course you have to use this identity. Okay. And from this identity, okay, we can go up by an even factor. What I mean over here is that with cosine of 2a equal to cosine square a minus sine square a, I can calculate cosine of 4a. I can double that. So if I double this, I can rewrite it as cosine of 2 times 2a. And if I apply this identity, what it give you? It give you what? Give you my 2a now. My 2a right here is actually my 2a here, I'm sorry. My 2a here is actually my a over here. Okay? So I can write it as, okay, I replace my a here with 2a. Then I can write it as cosine square 2a minus sine square 2a. So I can keep doubling, by the factor even. So I can do 6a if I want to. For example, cosine of 6a will be cosine of 2 times 3a, right? Then right now my a here is become 3a. So I can write it as cosine square 3a minus sine square 3a. Okay, so that's the trick. That's just the trick. Okay, and you can do 8a if you want to. You can do 10a if you want to. Okay, the even number of a. Okay, and you use the same concept. Okay, how about if we want to decrease by the factor, by even factor? Instead of calculate cosine of 2a, we want to calculate cosine of a only, using this formula. So I decrease by the factor of 2, right? You see that? When I divide it by 2 here. Okay? Let's see how we do that. What if I want to calculate cosine of a only? So I decrease by the factor of 2. Okay. So if I decrease by a factor of 2, or I divide it by 2, the angle over here must go down by the factor of 2 also. So this becomes cosine square a over 2 minus sine square a over 2. Sometimes we call this as a half angle identity. Half angle identity. Okay. How about if I just keep decrease by another factor of 2? What if I want to do cosine of a over 2? So what do you think? What do they give you? What do you think?
A 4.
A 4! So they give you cosine square a over 4 minus sine square a over 4. Alright. Everything's clear. Any questions so far? Okay. So I don't say that you should memorize all of this, you know. You want to memorize 4, 6, 8, 10, you know, there's so many of them. So you know that you can double the angle. Or you can go down by the factor of 2. Okay. Now let's get back to this one. Let's get back to the second formula here. I have cosine of 2a equal to 1 minus 2 sine square of a. From this formula, if I want to calculate sine square of a, okay, what do you give? What do you give you?
Cosine 2a.
Okay, so it will give you let's say let me isolate this term. Okay, I want to calculate sine square of a using this formula. So I'm going to isolate this. Okay, so I'm going to move this on the left to the left hand side, right? So I have 2 sine square a equal to what? 1 minus, right?
Cosine.
2a. Right. So I move this to the left hand side and I move this to the right hand side. Add both sides by 2 sine square a and subtract both sides by cosine 2a. That's actually what we do, okay? And if I divide both sides by 2, so I have 1 minus cosine 2a over 2